I know some of you are joining us at the Global Summit next week. Oh my gosh, it's almost here.
And Maria, thanks for being on camera. I got to make sure at least one person's laughing at all my jokes. So I appreciate you.
Okay. I'll try to make myself presentable.
Oh,
There. That's it.
I love it.
Okay, we're just gonna wait one more
Hast
second.
du probiert mit deinem?
Ja, die einen, da kommt die vorne raus und dir sagt, es ist zu weit.
Nee, jetzt habe ich sie ja zugeschnürt. Die müssen zugeschnürt sein, aber die brauchen Platz vorne für die
Aber da
Zehen.
vorne.
We got somebody who needs to mute.
Die dürfen sich nicht.
There we go. Okay, well, it's 12:32, so why don't we go ahead and get started? First of all, I'd like to invite everybody to please put your Zoom on mute until you're ready to join us and ask a question. So I hope everybody hears that. Anyway, welcome everybody to our monthly CHIPS Talent Connector webinar. I'm Bridget Johnson, and I'm CHIPS Director of Business Development and Partnerships. And CHIPS' mission, as you know, is to connect and advance women in tech and law. And we do such a great job connecting women through our events, through our upcoming Global Summit next week, our Next Gen Summit, our chapter events. And I'm wondering if there any way, Olivia, we can just mute everybody? That'd be great. Thank you so much. So we connect people through our events, and these Talent Connector webinars are designed to help you advance. And the idea here is we want to help equip you to be the best version of yourself when a new opportunity comes up. And that means either a new opportunity from outside your organization or perhaps a new promotion within your organization. And that's what these Talent Connector webinars are all about. This month, our Talent Connector webinar features LinkedIn expert Leah Bliss. Just in terms of quick housekeeping, if you have a question for Leah, please put that question in the chat. Our communications manager, Olivia, will be monitoring the chat, and she'll be helping Leah answer those questions as we go along. So please do put them in the chat as we go along. So right now, I will turn this over to Leah.
Excellent. Thanks, Bridget. Olivia, yes, you can just answer the questions for me. You've taken this webinar in part in the past, so you probably know all the answers. So that'll be fabulous. So again, thank you everybody for being here. Those of you that are on camera, I so appreciate it. It is so much more energetic and rewarding for me to be able to see your faces, to be able to interact. As Bridget said, do not hesitate to ask questions. I'll be keeping an eye on the chat. Olivia will be keeping an eye on the chat. But if something comes up, this is a lot of information. Please don't save your questions for the end. Make sure that you can even come off of mute and just say, hey, Leah, interrupt me. I know most women, we're not supposed to say that, but please feel free to interrupt me at any time. So we're going to talk about LinkedIn, and most importantly, talking about LinkedIn personal branding. Many of you may have seen this presentation before. I'll changing it up just a little bit. We can all see this, yes? Oh, my cat is trying to be the star of the show. No, thank you, sir.
Leah, we see your slideshow notes.
Dang it. How do I switch this? Let's try this again. Okay. Better? Perfect. Okay. So we're going to be talking about personal branding, LinkedIn, and how it all comes together. When I got started doing LinkedIn, I was actually getting my nails done the other day, and my cute nail tech was like, so what do you do for work? I was like, oh, I'm a LinkedIn expert. And she's like, how do you, that sounds like a made up job. How do you even get into something like that? Well, during COVID, my father reached out. Many of you may know Richard Bliss, and basically said, hey, you're my carbon copy. I need the next generation to carry the torch. Can I teach you everything I know about LinkedIn? And can we do this crazy thing all together? And I said, yes. So a little bit about my father. His name is Richard Bliss. He's from Olympia, Washington, where I was born. And for many years, he lived in San Diego. He was big into tech. We moved around a ton growing up, all over chasing startups during that whole dot-com boom, for those of you that remember what that was. He also has a brother named John, who is my uncle. Now, this is strange and seemingly irrelevant information, but it is public information. It's not private by any means. So I would love for somebody to just Google Richard Bliss San Diego and tell me what comes up. Let me pull up the chat here. Somebody Google Richard Bliss San Diego, put in the chat, what's the first thing that pops up? Or come off of mute and tell me. Wikipedia. Thanks, Ashley. Yes, Wikipedia. And what does that Wikipedia page say? Well, for those of you in the middle of the search, I will find it for you. It's a Wikipedia page that says that Richard Bliss, an American engineer working with Qualcomm, a tech company, was arrested in Russia in 1997 as a spy. Now, this is a very interesting Wikipedia page. All 100% Richard Bliss, a resident of San Diego from Olympia, Washington. If you scroll down, there's a link that shows his brother, John, saying, Richard is not a spy. My brother's not a spy. This was during the Clinton administration, right? Madeleine Albright and the Clintons had to be involved and move Richard out of Russia, get him back to the US. It was a exceptionally difficult time for our family because we kept getting phone calls and my poor father would have to answer the phone and say, that's not me, that's a different Richard Bliss. This is a 100% true story. There is someone else named Richard Bliss who worked in tech, lived in San Diego from Olympia with a brother named John. And I tell you the story, one, because it's insane. This is an incredible story, but also to highlight the fact that if we do not take control, right? An unlucky coincidence. My poor dad, he worked for a company and they had a headquarter in St. Petersburg. And they were like, oh, as the CMO, you should probably go visit the St. Petersburg office. And he was like, hard pass. Not going to Russia anytime soon. But we talk about this because these unlucky coincidences are completely out of our control. When it comes to our personal brand, if we are not the ones taking control and making the decisions, something or someone else will. There is something out there that will be at the front of our Google page that's maybe not what we want. So how do we control and really decide what our personal brand is going to be? We're going to talk about how that works in conjunction with LinkedIn very specifically. So when we think about LinkedIn and the algorithm specifically, one thing to note is that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, it's always going to be Twitter for me. These companies make money through advertising, right? I love the saying, if it's free, you're the product. Right? I don't think a single one of us would pay money to get on Facebook. I would pay money to not have to get on Facebook. That sounds great. But LinkedIn is very, very different. LinkedIn only makes 20% of their revenue from advertising. And so because of that, their goal in the way that they promote creators or people posting on their platforms is nearly backwards. 80% of LinkedIn's revenue comes from people who are paying to participate. The premium accounts, sales navigator accounts, whatever it is, we are paying LinkedIn to access this platform. LinkedIn will never become Facebook for work because LinkedIn doesn't want to ruin the user experience. I have clients that are paying millions of dollars a year for their sales teams to access LinkedIn. They would never pay money to be on Facebook. So LinkedIn's goal is to connect professionals and truly to network. So we're going to talk about how your personal brand and your networking skills can really come together on LinkedIn, and you can do it very intentionally. Now, when we think about the corporations that we work for, LinkedIn does not promote the corporation as much as the individual. When your company posts on LinkedIn, your company's post will only ever reach 2% of the followers of that page, unless you're paying for it. And you can pay for ads, and there's a whole bunch of information out there about paid ads, but I like to tell people you should not be paying to boost anything on LinkedIn until you take advantage of understanding the algorithm. On the other hand, us as the individuals, we have a 10% organic reach. Whenever we make a post, LinkedIn automatically sends that out to 10% of our audience. And it's asking the question, did your content start a conversation with that test group? Were you able to network and connect with other professionals? Too many times we treat LinkedIn like the proverbial coffee shop corkboard, where we go, post a flyer, make the announcement, and hope someone tears off a piece on the bottom and calls us later. But LinkedIn is really looking to see that your post is a conversation. And what topic are you trying to bring up? And how can you get people in your network talking about these important topics? But there's a couple of things. Again, it's all these bad habits from Facebook and Instagram that are keeping us stuck and unsuccessful on LinkedIn. One of those is overposting. I imagine most of you don't struggle with this, but too often I see people using the Instagram or even the Twitter style where it's, quantity over quality. But LinkedIn sees each post as a single conversation. As soon as you make another post, your first conversation ends. And so if we're posting too frequently, we are limiting our ability to reach a broader audience with these important topics because we keep jumping from one conversation to another. Imagine you're at a networking event, and I'll make this analogy several times. You're at a networking event and you bring up a topic. You're like, hey, did you listen to the new Taylor Swift album? Da, 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 da. And then you immediately turn to the next person. And you're like, hey, what are your thoughts on, the price and inflation? And all of a sudden you can't keep track of what conversation you're having, and people aren't able to participate in those conversations with you. Now, Michelle's asking, what advice do you have for government employees who are currently furloughed? Currently furloughed okay, so my son's father, he's an air traffic controller. He's currently furloughed. When you talk about being furloughed, are you saying that you can't post on LinkedIn, or are you looking for a new position? Michelle, go ahead and expand on that question real quick for me. I'll move on to the next point while you're doing so. A couple of other things that we do that impact our ability to have success on LinkedIn are including a link. If you make a post with a link, sending your audience thither and yon, LinkedIn says you are sending our paying customers off platform, and we don't want you to do that. So that 10% test group that you're going to reach is now cut down to 5%. Additionally, when you click the repost button, this is crazy. Megan, yes, great question. A link in the comments. I personally don't love that approach because when someone does repost, your comments don't always follow. Also, ideally, you're getting dozens and dozens of comments, and that link's going to be buried. The very simple workaround for this is make your post go live, right? Sign up for this webinar. It's going to be so great. Click the link to enroll today, and then post without the link there. Immediately, no time in between, edit the post, add the link afterwards. It's like object permanence. LinkedIn's a toddler and it can't see after you've made that edit. So you'll be safe. So hopefully that is a positive workaround. Michelle, we aren't supposed to be posting on social media about our job status, but many people are looking for opportunities. This is a great question, and I'm going to talk in depth about how we can be on LinkedIn. Yes, of course, don't post, hey, I got furloughed looking for a new job. I wouldn't suggest it. We'll talk about how to talk about yourself on LinkedIn here in just a sec, but I want to make sure that when we craft this messaging, that it's able to reach the right audience. Jamie, you are not penalized by the algorithm to edit your post immediately. It's now based on volume. As long as you're editing under 20% of the total post, there's no penalty. So great question. When you click the repost button, your corporation makes a post, you click repost. I'm going to share this. I think we've all been told that. But let's just all go and reshare the company content. 1% of your audience will reach this because LinkedIn is trying to protect the user experience. Let's say that you are connected to 30 individuals at a single organization. Every single one of them reposts the exact same piece of content. Your feed is now flooded with ad nauseum repeat of the exact same. LinkedIn doesn't want that user experience, and so it won't show a repost to very many people at all. The way that LinkedIn looks at the value of a post, it says, okay, 10% of your audience is going to see your post. Let's determine if it's valuable to be shared with a broader network. The first thing, Beth, if you repost and add your own comments, it's actually worse. It's actually 0.5% reach because LinkedIn sees that as an unnecessary duplication of content. And you might as well just made a comment or posted it as your own organic post. But we'll talk about that here in a sec. So yes, so many of us have been dutifully reposting to no avail. This is how we change it. Creating original content, but truly commenting is the power on LinkedIn. And we'll jump into that in just a second. Likes. Hit somebody with the like. You make a post. Let's say Olivia here makes a post about what a great webinar we're having. And we all go like it. You guys ever texted with your kids and the conversation ends and they double tap the bubble and hit you with a thumbs up to indicate the end of the conversation? LinkedIn sees a like as the end of a conversation, and so it only gets 1 point of value. However, reposting or sharing content gives it between 3 and 10 points of value. So Olivia posts about the webinar, we all go share it. It's only going to 1% of our audiences, but she gets somewhere between 3 and 10 points of value, indicating to the algorithm that this post is valuable. Commenting. Commenting is the queen on LinkedIn. It's the best thing you can do. Leaving a comment takes that comment and shares it to a broader audience, takes the post and shares it to a broader audience. Olivia, I'm just going to read out your message here. I like thinking of this as a conversation. Yes, a real life conversation. We would never be at a networking event, hear someone bring up a topic and go and walk away. That would be awkward. I don't think any of us would do that. But we want to comment and engage. A couple other things happen because if we're showing LinkedIn that our post is generating a conversation and creating networking opportunities with our peers, commenting is the best. Now, if your post is long enough that there's the see more button, having someone click the see more button to continue reading will add an additional 5 points of value. Dwell time. Truly, how long is someone spending viewing your post? And then velocity. How quickly did all of this happen? Here's the first promise that I can make to you. If you make a post, 200 words of text, no links, no hashtags, no tagging, and you can get 10 people to comment on that post and you respond to them within 1 hour, you are guaranteed 1,000 views on that post within 24 hours, regardless of how many people are in your network. I've seen interns do this. They get a little intern team together. They all comment on each other's posts, thousands, tens of thousands of views with 67 connections. This is something we can all access this. Shrin asked, what's the difference between a share and a repost? Nothing. They are interchangeable. To share it to your network, to repost it to your network, they are an interchangeable phrase, an interchangeable definition. Okay, the best conversation starters, because most of us aren't on LinkedIn hoping that there's just pages and pages of text to read. The best type of content is that 200 words, no links, no tags, no hashtags, and a personal photo. This does not have anything to do with the algorithm, but it has everything to do with human behavior. We are already disconnected through the digital space. we want to see real life people. And the likelihood that someone will comment on your post when there's a picture of a real life human, it's you and your team at an offsite. It's you even on a webinar. It's you out at a networking event. Anytime we can see real people engaging in real activities, the human behavior says that we are more likely to comment and engage in a conversation because we feel as though a real life human will respond to us. Next is the document post. These do the next best as far as engagement. It's where you upload your content as a PDF and people can click through and it slides. The rule with this is less is more. 45 slides, far too many. 11 is probably the maximum I would do. And then make sure it's readable. I've had people upload a white paper as a PDF. You can't read it. Under 20 words per slide. Keep it short, keep it punchy. But then you also have to include that 200 words of text explaining everything that's being presented in the document or the carousel slides. Things like videos and polls, both of these had kind of their day in the sun. Polls a couple of years ago, everyone saw polls everywhere. They were insane. What do you prefer, coffee or tea? Which favorite cereal? What? And any time that you voted, that poll would get shared to your audience and they were everywhere. LinkedIn, when they rolled out polls, same with video, superficially inflates the reach of those medias. And now it's dropping pretty significantly. We don't see polls nearly as often as we did. And LinkedIn went to the vertical video format. They're coming for YouTube Shorts style. Yes, the long ways, right? It's Reels, it's TikTok, it's YouTube Shorts. These work, but you also have to have the 200 words of text explaining what's happening in the video. You must embed the captions natively. LinkedIn captions don't auto-generate. And it must be under 30 seconds. I've got 2 video examples on my LinkedIn if anyone has an idea of what should work as a video, but it's meant to be off the cuff, overproduced anything. You see, what's the word I'm looking for? Images, stock images aren't even on here because nobody's going to see an overly curated photo of 4 perfectly diverse people sitting around a computer pretending to work and think that that's a real picture. We can tell stock photos, we can tell AI photos, and we can tell overproduced video. These do not generate organic interaction through commenting, which is what we want. Next, let's talk about how to create the perfect LinkedIn post. Feel free to screenshot this. If you dump this into an AI and say, this is how I want to write LinkedIn posts from now on, you're going to be pretty well set. A clear POV. Too many of us ask ambiguous questions in the beginning. What would it be like if the world were different? How could we? The more, and especially for us women, the more strength we can put behind our opening statement, the more likely we're going to stop people scrolling and start reading what we have to say. Being definitive, even a little bit argumentative, making sure that we're saying something worth talking about right in the beginning. Short paragraphs, break it up. Readability is really big, especially because 70% of people on LinkedIn are using it on their phone. So a big block of text is really hard to read. Make sure you break it up. But don't break it up too much. We've all seen LinkedIn CEO literally calls it broetry, the bro poetry, where it's like line, space, line, space, line. You won't believe what I learned today, space. I can't believe I haven't shared this with you yet, space. It's going to change the way that you look at your business, space. LinkedIn CEO and their entire executive team hate that. And they actively try to keep that from being successful. Yes, it's like they're trying to game the dwell time. But make sure that you structure it. Problem, insight, action, call to action. Make sure that you remember this is not an announcement. This is a conversation. Invite people to comment. If you are going to tag someone, tag them at the bottom. But truly engage. remember you're having a conversation with your audience. You're not trying to announce something. What does your audience that you're trying to impact really want to talk about? Which brings us to, has anyone heard of that concept called ikigai? I made a post about it a couple of years ago. It's this Japanese concept that takes, and I'm going to get this mostly wrong, but it takes the concepts of something you're good at, something the world needs, something that makes you money, and something that you're like proud to do. And the intersection of all those things is truly your calling, is what you should be doing with the world. When we think about our personal identity on LinkedIn in our careers, we too often look at them very linearly. Oh, this is my title, this is my role, this is my job, this is what I'm going to talk about. And then we change jobs. This is my new title, this is my new role, this is my new organization. And our personal brand is so enmeshed in whatever organization and current position we're in that we get a little bit of a blank slate. We're kind of amorphous. We don't have a strong sense of our personal brand. We're just defined by our role. I would submit that this is more of a 2, if not 3-dimensional way to look at things. Because I took a masterclass a couple of months ago, and this guy said, all you have to do is find the thing that you're the only of. What are you the only of? I am the only opera-trained LinkedIn expert. And that's something that I can speak to. I talked to a guy who was a legal ops professional, and he was also a classically trained bassoonist. Probably the only one I've ever met. Think about your only. And it doesn't have to be the only in the world only, but where can you find the intersection? If you had a career pivot, a career shift, let's say that you worked in a completely different field before shifting over. Let's say that you had an expertise in one area and now find yourself somewhere else. It's not a bad thing. It's in fact the best thing. Because when you look at the uniqueness that you can bring to any situation, not as, oh, I don't have as much experience. Ladies, I know that's how we talk about ourselves. I was speaking with one of the lawyers at Apple who was very, very high up. And I helped her rewrite her LinkedIn about section. And she said, oh my gosh, you make me sound so smart. Ma'am, you are smart. You are incredibly brilliant. And we too often second guess ourselves because we see other people doing other things that we think are more impressive. But if we look at our very unique histories, we can see that we have something to bring to the table. I'm a single mom and I work with entrepreneurs. I also work with huge organizations for their sales teams. There's so much to a single human that limiting it to just my title and just my organization, I would hate that for all of you, truly. And so to find the intersection, if you can list out right now 3 things that you can definitively say that I am this, and then look at the way you create content, then look at the value that you're bringing to your role now, that will change a lot of the ways that you are showing up on LinkedIn. Megan had a question. After you post, is there any boost if you stay on the site and comment on other people's posts? Yes. Excellent segue. Because as we're creating content, 1 post a week is really all you need. Truly. Any more than that feels like too much effort, frankly. 1 post a week talking about your unique expertise, background, perspective on something that you know is interesting and valuable to the audience you are looking to influence. The best way to keep that ball rolling is to go join other people's conversations, to continue to add that expertise. So we talk about getting connected and using commenting. When you make a comment on LinkedIn, before I start on this, are there any questions about posts, the format of a post, your personal brand, how to talk about it? I know that there were some questions about the furloughed employees. So I want to back up and actually answer this question a little bit more in depth. So I work a lot with financial services professionals as well, and there are so many rules and regulations about what you can and cannot talk about. The good news is you don't have to talk about your job. You don't have to talk about your position. But the best way to be attractive to new opportunities is to allow those people who would potentially be offering you those new opportunities, give them the chance to see you actively participating in the solutions that you're dealing with right now. For example, as a leader in XYZ position, having done this for several years, here's something that I would teach anybody who was taking over my role. Recently sat in a leadership meeting and we talked about the importance of personality types. And this is my personality type, and this is why it's impactful. Speak to your leadership style, speak to solutions that you've brought to the table. I heard a really long time ago that in any job, you should have a folder on your desktop titled wins. Anytime that you have a successful project, anytime that you get a great performance review, anytime that you just feel as though you did a really good job, document that in your wins folder so that when you're having a bad day, you can go and look back and say, oh, no, I actually am really good at my job. Thanks so much, past me, for reminding me. Referencing that folder is the best place to find content for LinkedIn, because you can speak to, last year I worked on a project and one of the things that came up was this, and being able to work through it in this way and whitewash all the, specifics out of it, but talk about how you approached it, your specific leadership style, your working style, the problems that you're seeing. If you see some awesome Instagram post that gets you thinking about something at work, if you come across an article that you thought, wow, that's really poignant, speak about those. Yesterday I read this really incredible article on Newsweek where the author talked about the importance of this, that, and the other. And, in the work that I do, I find that to be so impactful. And speak to these from your position of expertise, right? That intersection of greatness where you're the only. Speak to different concepts just like that. Does that help answer? Does that help give clarity? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, great. Let's talk about commenting. Commenting is the single most important thing you can do on LinkedIn. You can create content all day long, but if you can comment and participate in other people's, thanks, Monique, can participate in other people's conversations, this is where you really get to harness a lot of your influence. You make a post on LinkedIn, it goes to 10% of your audience, and every time you make a new post, the first one gets shut down. That is not true for comments. There is an unlimited number of comments that you can leave. If you were to leave 100 comments today, all 100 of those comments would be shown to 30% of your connections and your network. The post that you comment on gets pulled into the feed. If you go look at your LinkedIn feed right now, you'll see posts from people you're not connected to, because people you are connected to either liked or commented on it, and thus it shows up in your feed. So how do we leverage this? Well, too many of us are guilty of this. Great post. Thanks for sharing. Awesome. Congrats. How does LinkedIn determine which 30%? Bridget, this is a great question. It determines the 30% based on understanding who in your network is most likely to engage with what topics. Just like any kind of algorithm, the more that you engage with one type of content, the more likely it's going to show you more of that type. If I only commented on people talking about New York Fashion Week, I would all of a sudden only see posts about New York Fashion Week. If I only commented on posts from one single organization and all of their employees, I would only see posts from that organization and all of their employees. topics, people, media types, it all gets determined. There are a few other things that get determined as well, like how recently you've connected or how recently that person has viewed your profile. If you connect with someone, so all of you go out and connect with me right now. I would love that. As soon as we connect, LinkedIn will guarantee that we see each other's content for the next 10 days because it is gauging whether or not this is a valuable conversation and a valuable connection. So the 10% that see your posts and the 30% are recent connections. Now, Olivia and I are connected on LinkedIn. If I were to go and look at her profile, LinkedIn would say, oh, she's shown a unique interest. For the next 10 days, let's show everything that Olivia has posted and commented on Leah's feed. Maybe she wants to re-engage that relationship. That's how it determines. It's based on the interest indicators that you've made. But too often, just like on Instagram, we are commenting and engaging in a way that feels one-to-one. And when we interact with those people, we think, oh, this is just a conversation I'm having with the author of the post and no one else is really going to be a part of it. But in truth, 30% of our audience is overhearing that conversation. So we need to change the way. Again, if you were in a networking room and you were standing around a bunch of people and someone asked you a question or you were going to add your thoughts to this conversation that you're having, you would generally do it in a way to incorporate and encapsulate all of the people standing there with you. So here's what it should look like. This is the next thing you should screenshot. Your comment should first acknowledge the author at whoever the author of the post is. Then remember your audience is overhearing you. So please restate the key points. At Bridget. You can backspace over their last name or any of their alphabet soup, depending on your industry, to just have the first name to make it a little bit more conversational. At Bridget. Loved hearing about the success of the ChIPs LinkedIn webinar. I had such a great time presenting on LinkedIn and personal brand. Then add your own insights. The work that I do with women's organizations and organizations in general is so encouraging, especially understanding how to inspire people who are in transition or looking for opportunity to be able to leverage LinkedIn to the best of their abilities. People comment like that. People say, great post, thanks for sharing. It's a standout. It's almost a mini post. It's your chance to not hijack the post, but to really add your own thoughts and be a participant in this conversation. Here's an example. This is a sales example, but I'm going to suggest that every single one of us is selling ourselves at one time or another. You're selling your boss on a new concept. You're selling your team on a new adoption of technology. You're selling yourself as an employee to a new manager. We can all use commenting to build a relationship with the people that we want to influence. So John was the person needing to be influenced in this example. He wrote this very short post about cybersecurity. Well, my friend Danielle wrote a perfect comment. She didn't know John. She wanted to have a conversation with John. And she wrote this post, acknowledged the author, restated the key points, and added her own insights and expertise. You can see there's two comments on John's post here. One of them is Danielle's, and one of them is John responding to her. They are complete strangers. And yet she now has the opportunity to send a connection request and to build rapport with someone that she would like to have some influence over later. This works for hiring managers. This works for anybody that you want to start to build a relationship with. Again, prospects is an incredibly loose word here because several years ago, this is now a very old picture. I should change it. But this is me and one of the girls on our sales team. This was back when I was working for my father. And I called him up and I said, Dad, you should send me and Kira to Vegas for a girls trip. I mean, for a conference, for a networking conference. That's all we're going to do. And what we were able to do is download a copy of the attendee list, right? When we network, we have to do it with intention. And LinkedIn is just a virtual networking event, but we can conjoin it to in-person networking events. So we downloaded the list of all the people that we wanted to interact with, that we wanted to have some leverage and build a relationship with. And for 2 weeks, all we did was comment and comment. And you can see we didn't make it about us, right? Bernard, this is such an incredible movie. What you say is true. I choose to lead. I also believe, she ended it with great post. But this is such a standout comment, right? Amisha and I engaging back and forth. We found 100 attendees of the 500 people that were going to be there that we wanted to interact with. And for 2 weeks, all we did was message them. Excuse me, we did not message them. We only commented on their posts. We commented. We had 3 rules. We did not tell them we were going to be at the conference. We did not talk about our services. We didn't talk about ourselves really at all. And we did not send a connection request. Now, I've never been famous before, but let me tell you, it felt like it, because we walk into this conference and 100 people came up to us and said, "Oh my gosh, it's so great to finally meet you in person." They already felt connected. We got to leapfrog all over all of that awkward, "Hi, I wanted to introduce myself. I'm Leah," blah, blah, blah. I hate that part. That part, ugh. The meeting part. 100 people already knew who we were, and we could walk up and say, "Oh my gosh, Joseph, hey, it's so great to see you. Wow, look at that. We're not connected on LinkedIn. How did this happen?" I don't know. Pull up LinkedIn, connect with them right there on the spot. Nobody says no to your face. And I can tell you guys this story, but one guy did try to mansplain how business cards worked. And so we just realized that maybe wasn't a right fit for us. So we just didn't talk to him. But 99% of them connected on the spot. 30% of those people, so 30 people, ended up taking sales calls, and we were able to connect with the very people we were looking to influence. If you think about in your career where you're at, who would you be benefited by having a stronger relationship with? Where would you be benefited by other people seeing you in the virtual room with this person having a conversation? Put together a list. I love the Hot 100. Put together your Hot 100 list of people that you want to go and be interacting with. They can be, I wouldn't do celebrities. They have like social media managers, but someone, come again? Or maybe I said an echo. I love the concept of a career crush. Is there a woman in your field who has the job, has the position, is doing the thing that you are so inspired by? Put her on your Hot 100 list. Go out and start commenting and engaging with her content. You don't need to want anything from them. Maybe a conversation is all that it takes, or maybe just having them in your network makes a difference. Go out there, get commenting, get engaging. I'm going to jump back to the chat. I know we've got quite a few questions. Question, maybe this is too basic, but does having a high post range actually help your career? It's such a crap shot. Yes. So this is, I love this because this is like, who cares about vanity metrics? I'm not here to be LinkedIn famous. I don't care if I get 10,000 views on my post, but the consistency does impact your career, because when future employers, future bosses, future team members go and see that you've had consistency in creating and providing value in your role through all of that anecdotal evidence of, this is how I lead, this is how I create success in my role, this is how I do my job, and this is what I'm passionate about, it does help your career, because LinkedIn can't lie. You can lie about the projects that you worked on, but someone's going to call you out on it. It's going to keep that record of what you've done and what you've demonstrated. There's nothing can beat consistency over time. that persistence in value is so invaluable, because showing up day after day, providing value, again, post once a week. It's really all you need. But to keep showing up gives future employers, who absolutely 100% will look at your LinkedIn, a chance to get to know you on much more of a level than just what your resume says. Do you leverage people you're connected with who work at a company you're interested in, but in unrelated fields? Olivia said they check your LinkedIn. Yes, I think leveraging people in your network is fantastic. Being able to reach out to someone that you've built a relationship with. Now, this doesn't work if you haven't taken the time to do the commenting, do the engaging, do the posting. But let's say that this girl, Lauren, there was engagement that stayed, the value was seen. And now I noticed, hey, Lauren knows somebody at an organization that I'd be interested. Hey, Lauren, do you know this person very well? Do you think you could get me an introduction? I've been really wanting to work for that organization. Even just a conversation kind of about the ins and outs and see if I can get connected to the right people. Would you mind setting that up for me? That's called an ask. And financially speaking, you have to deposit before you can withdraw. And the commenting is the way that we create deposits into these relationships. Are you showing up consistently for the people that maybe one day you'll need to ask something of? Again, commenting is the currency on LinkedIn, and the more you can do it, the more you can give and show up for that audience that you hope to influence, the stronger the return when you do need to make that ask. So hopefully that answers that question. Yes, Michelle, I will share all the slides, 100%. And it's being recorded. Perfect. Oh, look at everyone. Somebody asked why there's emojis in my name. Does it help searchability? No, not at all. It does help with spam bots. So I have this little moon emoji. Kira had the little shooting star emoji. Because whenever I get a connection request or a direct message that says, "Hi, Moon Leah, I see that we've got a lot of people in common in our network and we should connect." I now know that that is not a real person. It may be a real person, but that was an automated message done by some sort of scraping tool, and I can just delete those. I get the in-mail messages all the time. I'm sure you guys get those. That's right. Recruiters are looking at your profile. If it has the moon, I know that it's not a real person. So you can also do the little dot. It's like Command 8, and it's just like the bullet point dot if emojis feel too unprofessional for your position. But yes, I have the moon and I don't have to deal with getting spam. Perfect. Okay, let's talk about, we've got a little bit of time left, just about 10 minutes. We're going to talk about how to set up your profile with that audience in mind. If you're trying to get hired, if you're trying to look for a new job, if you're trying to get promoted, put in your mind who you're trying to speak to. Who is your audience? Because that will tell us exactly what your profile should look like. There are 4 things you must have in your profile. If you do not have these things, anytime you make a post, that post gets a 50% reduction. LinkedIn says this is the bare minimum expectation for you to have access to the platform. The banner image, it needs to instantly visually connect you to that audience. Whether that's an audience of potential customers, partners, employees, employers, make sure that instantly visually connects you. If you're at an organization, they generally have branded images, but you can do a picture that you take out of your backyard. You could take a vacation and you've got this amazing image of the lake or the ocean. Whatever it is, it needs to represent you to the audience you're looking to influence. Additionally, your profile picture. Do not use an AI photo. Plain and simple. Do not use an AI photo. This is the first chance people get to build trust with you in the picture of your face. Make sure it's the actual picture of your actual face. Make sure that it's not 10 years old. Make sure that your hair is the correct color. I got jump scared straight up. I had a woman, I looked up her LinkedIn profile. We were going to have a meeting. She had this gorgeous auburn bob, and she was a seasoned executive. I get on the call with her. That picture had probably been 20 years old. She had the most gorgeous, pure white hair down to her waist and was easily 20 years older than she looked. And it was very disconcerting because I was like, oh, is this the right person? Am I looking at the right? Just make sure it looks like you. Also, crop your photo so that your nose is in the middle. We need to be able to see your eyes. I get that, like, we want to show off our hair and the outfit and the jacket, but we need to be able to see your face. So crop it at the collarbone, make sure your face is in the middle. Then we've got your headline. This is so simple. Your title, your organization, that's it. If you want to add a qualifier at the end, right? I help or pushing forward, whatever it is, title, company name, then you can put your I help statement. This is because when you post and when you comment, the only information that's shared is your face, your name, and your headline. If it says driving forward legal to the bright new future, I have no idea what you do and I have no idea who you do it for. Granted, it might make me come to your profile, but most likely it's just going to make me ignore you. So, title, company name, and then whatever you want. Lastly is the about section. The about section is something between your profile cover letter and a dating app, truthfully, because your resume, this is not a place for your resume cover letter. This is not a place for your resume. This is not a place for once upon a time, I started my career in the late 1900s and brought me to today. Like, this isn't our laundry list of expertises. All of that can be seen in different places of your LinkedIn profile. The about section tells us what we can expect from a business relationship with you moving forward, what it's going to be like to hire you. Are you a culture fit? Are you somebody whose leadership style is going to mesh well with our other leadership team members? This is where you really sell your personality and the culture fit. So we have Olivia's as the example. She's done a fantastic job. There's a couple of tweaks, but overall, I'm going to give this a A-. The background image instantly visually connects to the audience she's looking to influence. The profile picture, we can see her face. Now, I wish it was cropped closer because this is like 50% pink shirt. We want to see your face. ChIPs Network, passionate about how we can communicate better together. All we need is your title before that, and you're rock solid. And then the about section, driven by a mission to take organizational communications as impactful and accessible as possible. Excellent. We understand what she's driven by, things that she looks for. I am dedicated to ensuring that messages from my team reach their intended audience is clear. And then there's the see more button. When I do this in a sales training, I always ask people, how much more do you think there should be after I click the see more button? How much feels appropriate? When I put that feels disclaimer on it, people always say 2 more lines. 2 more lines, that's what feels appropriate. I don't want to feel like I'm overwhelming someone. I don't want to feel like I rambled about myself. I don't want to feel like it's very I feel. But then we think about, how does your audience feel? If your boss asked you for clarification on a project and you sent him 2 more lines of text, or her, not quite what they're looking for. People click the see more button because they want to, say it with me, see more. Yes, making that A+ edits. It's not a terrible more. We've got quite a bit here that we can see. Strong background in communications. I focus on crafting messages. Olivia's taken this training before, so she's had some time to work on this. But truly, it's an opportunity for us, again, to let people know what they can expect from any kind of business relationship with us moving forward. Who are we? Where do we fit into the organization? And what type of leader are we eventually going to become? Or are we already? Perfect. Here is the homework. We are about to wrap up. I'm going to stick around for more questions. We've just got about 5 minutes left. I'll give you guys some access, but I will stick around. I've got a few minutes. We can do some questions at the end. Previously been told that your headline should not have the title, instead give me in a nutshell. So use top keywords and phrases to let people know what I do. So yes, Sarah, a lot of LinkedIn experts who deal with people who are selling business to consumer will tell you to put your I help statement. I'm a this is who I am. This is poor advice for anyone in B2B or anyone in a more professional standard of expectations, because one, LinkedIn does not use anything from your headline for keyword searching. There's no SEO. It's not going to capture any of that information. Additionally, when you're posting, when you're commenting, those of us working in corporate are looking to understand very quickly where you fit into our business ecosystem. And so having your title and your company name allows us to be like, oh, she's a this. Oh, interesting. Because the about section is for your personality. That's all about you. But your headline should let us know what role you're playing at what current time. Does that help give some clarity? Does adding hashtags to your post result in your post reaching more people? No. LinkedIn has been back and forth with hashtags. Until further notice, just don't use them. They actually don't work at all. They do help a little bit, but when LinkedIn moved from a hashtag-based algorithm to an AI-based algorithm, hashtags became relatively irrelevant. And for a while, even having hashtags would have you reach fewer people. So that wasn't great. For your headline, what if you're not currently employed by a specific organization? Great question. Put in your previous title or the generally what it is that you do. I just spoke at the Running Legal Like a Business conference in Vegas. And so there was a lot of people in legal operations, and it was legal ops professional if they didn't currently have a position, right? IP legal leader, something that allows people to understand what you do, but doesn't necessarily say that you're currently in a role with an organization. Does that help? I hope so. They really only work to search for posts. Yes. And searching for posts, I would rather search for an individual than a post topic, because you have so much more opportunity to leverage the relationships with comments than just try to find a bunch of posts around a specific topic. And with that, this is what I suggest that we all do. We are
Leah,
1
can
minute.
I actually interrupt and ask a question? Cindy had asked, does adding your website in your profile, the visit my website link, does that help? Is any advice on whether or not to do it?
I absolutely would do it. Yes. Visit my website, because I've seen people, especially those that are entrepreneurs, putting all of their contact information into the banner photo. It's not interactable. I can't click on your website from your banner image. But view my services or visit my website as a button right underneath your name. That's going to take people to your website. That's a great way. That's absolutely fantastic. You should do that. Yes. And yes, Nancy, you can also put a featured post that sends them right to your website. That's like LinkedIn Advanced. That's a good one. But yes, as we finish, 3 comments a day, 5 days a week, start engaging with people. Here's what I can promise. The more you interact with people, the more they will come and find you interesting. This person went from dutifully reposting corporate content every day to commenting 3 times a day, 5 days a week. And they had If someone can beat 5,000%, please send me your screenshots because I would love that. So I know there's a lot of questions. I'm going to stick around, but if anyone has to drop off, here is a link to my calendar. Please, for any of you, if I didn't answer your question, if you have more questions, if you want personalized advice on how to set up your profile and your content because you are looking for a new job, if you are trying to get promoted, whatever the case may be, please feel free to book 30 minutes with me and we can go over all the nitty-gritties and talk about everything because I would love that. So, yes, please make sure to join us on November 4th for the next webinar. I won't be there, but it's going to be awesome. And Kerwin's talking about negotiating your package for your new job or your promotion. That sounds fab. Maybe I will come to that. That sounds excellent. I'm my own boss, but that sounds wonderful. All right, team. Should we accept connections of people you don't know? If it says something like a guarantee in their headline, guarantee 30 new prospects, or it's obviously that they're going to try to sell you something, don't connect with them. If you have a premium account and you decline someone's connection request, they automatically become a follower. So you can just start racking up followers, but you don't have to connect with them. How do we keep up with changes in the algorithm? Follow me on LinkedIn. The algorithm changes pretty often. I get quarterly updates, but for the most part, fundamentally, LinkedIn wants you to have conversations. LinkedIn wants to help business professionals build better networks and have better business conversations. So as long as you keep that in mind, you can't really go wrong. Now, LinkedIn doesn't want anyone to go viral. LinkedIn doesn't want us to turn into Instagram, but being able to build community and build those relationships through commenting and valuable posting, at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. Is there a best time of day or day of the week to post? Yes. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the morning, like 9 or 10 o'clock of whatever the time zone that your audience lives in. I'm in mountain time, but I want to make sure that all my East Coast girlies are getting these posts. So I got to post a little bit earlier. I got to do some later in the afternoon for all the West Coast people. The mid-morning, 9 to 10 a.m. is really great because it's when most of us would have been commuting. And instead, we're just scrolling. Also, the post-afternoon lunch slump, that 1 hour after lunch when people kind of are in their food coma and they don't really want to work, but they do still need to be on their computer. That's a great time to post. And then Sunday evenings, there are less people on LinkedIn, but more likely to post and comment because of the Sunday scaries. It's Sunday evening. We're thinking about work tomorrow. I'm just going to jump on LinkedIn real quick and see what's going on. That's also a great time. Excellent. Stop it, you guys. These messages are so nice. Okay.
Leah, I think there's one more question. I
Yeah.
apologize if you already answered it, but Natalie asks, you mentioned not to include tags in your post. What if you're tagging people or organizations, for example, panelists or a sponsor of an event?
Yes, great question. So tagging generally, I would avoid it. But if there is a panel, hey, we're going to have this panel of speakers. It's going to be these 3 people, tag, tag, tag. That's great. But if you tag someone and they do not come and respond with either a like or a comment to your post, LinkedIn will determine that you are spamming them and it will actually decrease the reach of that post. So you see all these people that put like the huge block of blue tagged names. It's actually not having that great of an impact. So tag sparingly and let them know you're going to be tagging them beforehand so that they can come and participate in that conversation. For a organization, when you tag an organization, the unfortunate truth is that the only people that are alerted that you've tagged an organization are the social media management team managing that organization's LinkedIn account, right? Whatever intern is on that day is going to see that tag. They need to respond with a like or a comment, but if it's an organization that you want your audience to go and investigate, for example, if I make a post about how great this was and how much I love ChIPs, I'm going to tag them because I want my audience to be able to click on that to go and view the organization. And I'll take the hit if there's no engagement there. Okay. Yes, think about when are we scrolling. If you tag names and people don't come back, LinkedIn can ding you. Yes. Nancy, girl, you know so much. Perfect. Okay. Ladies, this has been fantastic. Are there any other questions? I know that we're just about 6 minutes over, but here to hang out. My email's going off, so I can see a lot of you are booking time. So I will chat with a lot of you later. But Bridget, I'll give it back to you.
Thanks, Leah. This has been so fantastic, as you can see from the comments and the turnout. Olivia, maybe you can share with everybody how they're going to be able to find the video, because you mentioned we recorded this.
Absolutely. So this webinar has been recorded. You can find it on our YouTube page, and this is a perfect opportunity if you are not already a member to join ChIPs. It will be posted on our community platform under our Talent Connectors page and on our live feed. So if you want to find all of our talent connectors in one simple place, you have 3 hours and you're just going to dedicate it to becoming a better professional and advancing your career. That is a great place to go. I'll put it in the chat. I know there's a couple of us still on here. But if you have not already joined ChIPs, I would very much recommend you do so now.
Leah, one other quick question for you, and I should have asked this question earlier. It's my understanding you also do consulting for personal consulting as well as with corporations. Is that right?
That's correct. So
Okay, great. Tell us about that.
I guess shameless plug. Shameless plug, what I offer is a one-on-one VIP package. This is great for people who are like, okay, LinkedIn's important. I know it. I don't necessarily have the time or the energy or the money to pay somebody else to do it for me. So I sit down with someone, and over the course of 4 hours, they walk, usually we break it up a little bit, but 4 hours gets you 9 LinkedIn posts, a customized list of your Hot 100, all the people that you want to be interacting with. And what I think is the best part is a customized AI, I call it a super prompt. The super prompt is 9 pages that you put into your AI of your choice that teaches that thread everything about you, your vision, your mission, your goals, your career ambitions, your background, your history, your speaking and writing style, also all of the LinkedIn best practices, so that you can go to that AI thread and say, please write me a LinkedIn post about this topic. And it'll pop in your voice with your background, with your understanding to your audience. Everything's already built in, so that after you've gone through those first initial 9 posts that I help you write, you can write your own content. And then as you're going through your Hot 100 list, you can find content, put it into the chat and say, please leave a comment on this post as me. And it'll write you a well done, well crafted comment that's appropriate for you and your background. So if that's something you're interested in, hit me up. Yeah, it's usually 2 2-hour sessions over the course of a week or so. But that is my, yes, one-on-one option.
That's great. Well, maybe there's some way that we can get that into the hands of all the other people that joined us today who had
Yeah.
to jump off at the end. And Olivia and I can put our heads together in terms of how we do that, because that sounds like a fantastic service. So thank you. So
You're welcome. Thanks,
great.
lady.
And let us know how else we can help you connect you with our client base, because we certainly have over 7,000 members at ChIPs. And I think,
8,000.
oh, excuse me, 8,000. It's growing every day.
It's going to be so exciting when you guys hit 10,000. That'll be
Huge.
oh, incredible. Okay. I
Great.
absolutely
Thank you,
will.
Lee.
Thank you again for having me. This is every time I come in and work with ChIPs, it's always so enjoyable. So,
We love it.
Leah,
ladies, with
someone
you.
is asking if you can put back up the booking QR code. She wants to
Oh,
book it. Yeah.
yes. Where is it?
Can we also email you to set that up?
Yeah, absolutely. If
Great. That's great. Okay, super.
because I imagine, did it go away? Is it still there?
It's loading. It looks like there it is.
Perfect. Yes, I imagine that my calendar will be exceptionally full here. So if you could slide some extra meeting times in, please feel free to email me. And yes, I have a significant amount of travel coming up. My sister's having a baby and she asked me to go stay with her next week. So
Oh, congratulations.
I'm the only one with a kid, so it's my first time being an auntie. Very excited.
Oh, is it a boy or girl?
A little girl.
Ah, God bless. That's so wonderful. Congratulations. Well, Leah, thank you so much for today.
Thanks,
And we
Leah.
look forward to continuing our relationship and working with you. So thank you so much.
Excellent.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
ladies.
Leah.
We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.